Okay, so for a racing DP here, back on air. I suppose really I should start the video with "Hey up," seeing as I'm from Derby. Something I was just gonna want to have a look at, which you can't see at the moment. Yes, I know what it was. Well, I better turn the volume down on that, otherwise that's going to just echo through the microphone. Yes, I've remembered what I wanted to look at now. How stupid am I? Very. Okay. Okay, so that's all right. I said I was going to, at the start of my last video, I said I was going to have a look at the T300 settings. Now, I am going to try and do that a little bit in car setup, but it's quite complicated, it's quite complex. So you're going to have to bear with me while I get the information together. Right. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go into free practice again, but I'm not really going to go and do any laps. I'm going to change car. Where's that Mercedes? This one. Nice car, this. Shall I change track? I probably should. People get bored of just watching me drive around. Donington. So where should we go? I know. Silverstone. Right. Now with the T300 wheel, which I'm using, I've been told there's a lot of setup changes you can make. But it is per car. Now I've watched Inside Sim Racing's video, which was shared to me by Kev187, and their video is 32 minutes long, and that is just about looking at changing your settings on your car. Now they have done much more a much more detailed look at these settings, and to be honest, I'm just going off kind of what they've said, so I'm gonna give it a try and have a look and give it a try, and then I will go and have a look at doing some proper races. Now I looked at force feedback in the previous video, so I'm not going to go through all that again, although I think it is in the feedback settings I need to go. It is. That's right, I didn't actually look at the feedback, did I? I looked at calibrating. Okay, in the force feedback there is what, spindle, 2, 3, there's 2 menus here. Now I'm not going to go into detail about what each of these does, but what I will say is that Inside Sim Racing do say that with the FX scale, the FY scale and the FZ scale, the game starts it at 100 as default, and on the MZ scale. But they were saying that what they're finding better is to actually have these set much lower. 44. So I'll tell you what, I won't alter it. I will go on track and then I will adjust these settings, because they say to run these at a much lower level. You get a much better feel for the car, much better handling, so we will actually go and give that a try and see what it's like. Excuse me. This car is not the most powerful, but it is a little bit tail happy, especially when the tyres are cold. But for these first few minutes, all I want to do is sort of have a look at force feedback levels, because at the moment the wheel is, in this car, very light. I'm having to put a lot of steering angle on there. Obviously the tyres are cold and they do need warming up, and the wheel will probably get heavier as the tyres do get warmer. But in the F1 car, the amount of feedback and the wheel weight all felt fairly damn good, to be honest. So you will find that going from one car to another, the wheel may just seem very wrong. I mean, I may have come on to this Mercedes to start off with and it may have felt okay, and gone on to the F1 car and found that that felt heavy. But doing it the other way round could mean that this Mercedes feels a lot lighter than it actually would, because I've gone from the F1 car to this. But the settings that I was just looking at should adjust how the car will feel. It'll also affect how it'll feel when you go over bumps, curbs, and there's also one of them that I'll look at that should, well, they say it gives you a much better feeling of what the back end of the car is actually doing. And if you are using a wheel, it is very handy to know what the back end is doing. And like there, I could just feel that the rear was perhaps going to go a little bit, but I could do with a much more noticeable effect on my wheel. It is very light, meaning I am having to focus quite a lot on what the wheel is trying to tell me. Ooh. And with the amount of steering angle I'm having to put on the wheel, it does make it a little tricky to rectify moments quickly. I mean, I don't mind having to apply quite a bit of steering lock. I mean, I'd expect to have to apply more lock in this car compared to the F1 car, but I don't want to be having to cross my hands over, which at the moment I'm not having to do. But if there was a much sharper hairpin somewhere, I definitely would. Okay, see if we can have a bit of fun. Oh, it doesn't want to kick the rear out. But I would say as well, I mean, if you are practicing, don't be afraid of just throwing the car around and seeing what it will do. I mean, for me there, I would have liked that to have stepped the rear end out, get a big drift on, but I'm turning the wheel trying to get an initial turn in and power down, but the front end just isn't biting, and I'm able to spin the wheel round quite quick and quite easily here, but it's too light. It definitely needs a bit more effect in the wheel. Now that could be all down to the force feedback levels on this car, or it could just be about these settings that I'm about to have a look at. Although I will quickly have a look at the force feedback scales here. Setup. Master scale. The spindle refers to the front wheel steering axis, with the master scale determining the magnitude for how tyre forces are represented through the force feedback. So I guess the higher you have it, the more your tyres are doing, the more effect you're going to have through your wheel. Now that one, you would think has an overriding effect on everything else, which it probably will, but if you only adjusted that one, it's probably not going to make that much difference. The FX, FY and FZ scales refer to the fraction of longitudinal, lateral and vertical tyre forces fed to the force feedback system along the X, Y and Z axis. And if you have any idea what that actually means, then you're a step ahead from me. But like I say, I have been informed to lower these to about 44.0 for these two, so I'm going to give it a try. It could be different for every car, and I'm not saying that this is the perfect setup for every car, but I am in the car that I am in a car that the Inside Sim Racing guy did eventually go to. Okay, for the FZ scale, a little bit higher, 54%. Just play this on to see whether he no, he leaves MZ scale at 100. Now the arm angle, he did say that if you raise that it does give much more effect on the wheel. We'll have a look at that in a moment. We'll have a quick roll over here to body and stop. SOP, meaning seat of the pants, and basically it tries to give the effect of what a driver feels through his backside when he's driving a car, and this is where getting a feel for what the rear end of the car is doing. Now I'm not going to have a look at that one at the moment, but if you feel like you don't know what the rear end of the car is doing, this is the place to actually go and look. But I just want to go and test those settings that excuse me, they have suggested to change there, and see if it does alter how the wheel was feeling. Now already, I mean, going down the pit lane, okay, I can't actually steer the car, but wiggling my wheel, there's definitely a bit more weight in there, so I hope that that's not going to come off as soon as I get control on the way out the pits. Whoa, actually it did a lot. Okay, the tyres are cold, so we are going to have to give them a chance to warm up a bit. But I tell you what, they suggested changing the those settings to this, and it's gone even lighter. I'm having to turn the wheel even more. Now, admittedly they do say it's going to be down to driver preference, but I mean, I know my tyres are cold, but this at the moment sort of feels like driving on ice. But I may actually have to alter the master scale perhaps to get a bit more feedback through. I mean, literally it feels like there is no feedback behind this wheel at all, so I'm not entirely sure what he was going on about on the video. But okay, I mean, there isn't a lot of force feedback or anything like that, but it does seem to be turning a little better. Okay, I was having to use a lot of steering lock initially. Okay, so it is steering better. I just haven't got any amount of feedback through the wheel. So it's through the touch screen. So I'm having to steer a lot to get it around these corners. However, because the wheel is so light, it is easy to do so. But I'm not a big fan of a light steering wheel. It's very easy to get it turned into the corners. So I think with just more feedback, this should probably be pretty good, although I'd like to reduce the amount of steering angle required, which I believe was the the setting something arm. We'll have a quick look at that in a moment. I'm going to get around Brooklands. Okay, come on, big power slide. No. Okay, so I can kind of see the benefits of that particular set in there. It definitely did seem to steer better, just the feeling wasn't as good. So let's have a look at the master scale. So just bear with me a moment while I check my notes here at what sort of master scale we want to be looking at. Might be a bit boring that you sat there watching me do nothing, but it's better that I give you the right sort of information. I'm not saying that my information will be absolutely spot on or perfect. At the end of the day, the settings is all going to be down to personal driver preference, what you feel more comfortable with. I mean, myself and Kev187, we're both very similar on lap times, but tend to run quite different setups, and that'll always be the way with racing games and racing drivers. That setups will change from one person to the next. I mean, I've tried people's setups and they've been absolutely impossible to drive at times, and then others have tried mine and can't get on with it, but I can be quite quick. I can't find my notes at the moment. Just give me one more second. I will get there. Okay, so master scale was left on 26, so we'll have a look at the arm angle. And I'm going to move this up to 4500, and we'll see what effect that has. See if that excuse me, gives me any kind of additional weight, or perhaps shortens the amount of steering angle I'll need to put on it. Okay. Right, I tell you what, I can't really tell what effect that has had. It's not reduced the amount of excuse me, steering angle that's been needed. There's no additional wheel weight there. Now, I would have thought that changing it by the amount that I did, I would notice a big difference. I can't say that I do. Okay, through these faster corners, it does feel like I'm not having to put as much steering angle into the wheel. Okay, I am starting now to notice what it's doing. Because it's not giving me any feedback, it's difficult to tell, but it's kind of made the steering smoother, if that makes any sense. Be a little more perhaps precise with it. Yeah, okay, it does seem to have allowed the steering to be a little more precise, but there just isn't any feedback through the wheel. So let's have a quick look at the rest of these settings. So there's nothing else in there. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's take this master scale to the other end of the limit and let's see what that does, shall we? Because strangely the car actually felt like it was driving quite nice. There was just no weight on the wheel whatsoever, and for me I don't like that at all. Oh yeah. Okay, the master scale has definitely added some weight. Oh my god, that's like driving a 1990s car that's got no power steering. Holy crap, I can't even get it turned around there. Okay, so I think we know what the master scale will do on that one. I think putting it at 162 is a bit much. I'd say at that level it's probably twice as firm as the F1 car was, sort of at standard. I mean, it's drivable, but there's definitely some weight behind it, which means when you have a moment like that it's much more difficult to react to it. The forces you'll need is quite great. What we'll do, we'll get to the end of this lap and we'll reduce the master scale a little bit. So on this level as well, we're going over the curves. I mean, going over these little curves is not too bad, but if you have a big moment over one of the bigger curves, the wheel really kicks. I'll tell you, I like this. I mean, I've always have liked a heavy wheel, and okay, it is too heavy, but I do kind of like it. I mean, I don't think I'd want to do a really long race on it, because your arms would be knackered. Okay, let's give it a big boot of throttle. Because of the weight of it, very difficult to get any opposite lock on it. Okay, so I'm going to knock that master scale down. It was on 26 originally, and 162 is a bit much, so somewhere in between would be about 80, wouldn't it? Let's go about 84. A random number. Sometimes random can be good. And the thing is, the heavier your wheel weight as well, the more chance that you're going to need a really good wheel stand, because if you haven't, you're probably going to break it. Now these settings that I have shown you, it is going to be, it's not set it once for all of your cars, it's a car by car basis, which means it could take quite some time to get yourself set perfectly on your wheel with every car, which pick up and play people are probably going to get annoyed with, but majority of the cars you can pick up and play. Some are a little more tricky. I would say this wheel weight is much better, but it is still a little too heavy to react in the opposite direction. It does feel quite nice on turn in, but doing your little adjustments mid corners is a little tricky to do. I reckon I'll probably have to knock it down a bit more for my own personal preference. It is very drivable on this setting. I just think if you're doing sort of 10-15 laps, it'd be quite easy to end up with achy arms pretty quick. Like moments like that, the wheel's a little too heavy to react quick enough. Okay, I'll make one more adjustment, and then one more adjustment, do a couple of laps, and then I'm going to go and do a race. Okay, let's go for 60, another random number, but I mean, the thing is, you could find that perhaps 60 might not be quite right, but 62 or 58 would be spot on. The only way you'd know would be to actually go and set it and try it on every different car and see which feels best for you. I'd say that amount of weight is just about right for me now. And get it turned in easy enough. I can counteract it just about alright if I've got the ability. Yeah, I'd definitely sound quite comfortable with that amount of weight in the wheel now. I wouldn't say I'm getting a lot of necessarily feedback or feel through the wheel, but the weight is right. Oh, just when I thought it was going well. I'm definitely feeling more and more comfortable with the settings on as they are now. Try and have a bit of fun. Ooh. I'd say I'm happy enough with that. Now I'm not going to actually save this particular setup to all of my tracks like I have done with the other cars. But it should stay on. Excuse me, for the race that I'll do in a moment. I'm just going to have one last look at the feedback options in the main menu. Because I just want to see. Controls. Calibrate force feedback. You know what, I didn't do that earlier. Right. Although from what I can remember, he did say he leaves most of it as standard apart from one point. So let's look through the list. Tyre force, well, that's similar to what the master scale does. Per wheel movement, that I find quite interesting, but he does leave all that at 0. Linkage scale, there's a lot that can be adjusted on this game. I did look at this very early on, I do remember now. I'm fairly sure though there was a specific feedback amount, but I'm not seeing it there. Okay, so there isn't an overall feedback level, unless that is what the tyre force, just reading what it says here. Tyre force refers to the percentage of tyre related forces used to influence force feedback calculations. Wheel position smoothing refers to the angular velocity of the wheel. So complicated, all this stuff. Okay, I'm just looking at the scoops now, like the scoop knee. Scoops decrease low forces more and high forces less, thereby increasing the slope of force where some devices reduce the slope of force. The scoop knee is the force level where the slope changes from shallow to steep. So I'm guessing that's how aggressive, if you're turning a little bit, going into turning a lot, probably affects the aggressiveness of that. Right. Let's go and do a race and suffer from absolute carnage. I'm going to go back to Silverstone. Into the Mercedes. Now this is where I'll probably find that it won't have saved any of my settings, which, if that's the case, doesn't say that what I've just done is wasted. It just means that I'll be able to now. It's one of the reasons why I didn't save it, is because I want to, if it does revert, I can see what it was like as standard compared to what it was like once I'd changed it. But from this point on, I'm going to try and not look into setups or out like that too much, and just try and go and do some races. Perhaps have a quick look at the career mode. I mean, I've done the first round of my career. I started in the Formula 1000s, the Formula Gulfs. I haven't yet had a look at what was on offer after that, so I'll have to go and have a look. Salwashia. Okay. Oh, not a great start. Now I would say that with how the wheel's feeling, it's definitely kept the setup on there. Oh, that was a bit brave, but had he not turned in, I reckon I'd have been alright. The AI cars do like to turn in for a corner if they think that they've got it. Oh, no, you dare. I thought he was having me then. Let's see how they handle maggots and Beckett's. Go on, you two crash, and I can just drive past. Oh, sorry, youth. But see you later.
Try and stop this guy getting underneath you. Cover that inside line.
He's nowhere near me inside line. Oh, he might be after that. Now, I said it in my first video, and I really should take on board my own advice. Take the fuel out of the car. So perhaps doing a race-only session is not wise, because I've got 86 litres of fuel, and I'm only doing 5 laps. So I'll only probably need about 10 at most. Let's see if we can get after these ahead.
Looks like there's one on your tail. Start defending your position. Cover the inside line in the braking areas.
Not a bad line through there, gain some time, don't need to defend.
Pile on the pressure, this is great stuff. You're going to do him in the next few laps.
I'm going to do him in the next few corners. After that I'm going to crash him off. Oh, you son of a... I can see why people think the AI are a bit too over-aggressive, but you know what, I like aggressive AI. I mean, Gran Turismo's AI is pretty much pointless them being there. Not that you can have AI in online lobbies, but it is pointless them being there. They're of no challenge whatsoever, and they can't drive.
Okay, we've got a little bit of pressure from the guy behind, so it may be time to start covering the inside line. Trying to get a good run out the last corner and slipstream past him on the straight.
There isn't a straight after the last corner. I don't think you know what you're on about, engineer. You may notice I am braking earlier than the AI. A couple of reasons for that. One, I'm used to them braking way too early and slowing down way too much. But also, I've always been a bit of an early braker, slowing fast out rather than fast in, slow out.
He looks weak in the slow corner. See if you can slip up the inside under braking. Keep the pressure on.
Oh, don't really want to be going sideways there, but kept it on the road, that'll do. I lose a lot of time, one small mistake though. As this race has gone on, I'm definitely feeling comfortable with the settings that I've put on the wheel. And yes, it's a bit heavy, but I feel I can be quite smooth and precise with it. It's under braking, I'm struggling, and obviously I haven't done anything with the actual setup of the car for the race. He's going to be slow out of there. Oh! Cheers, mate. You just screwed me over. Oh, I suppose I could have slowed down more, but...
Let's pick the pace up a little bit now, mate. You're putting in some consistent times, but we need to push now.
I seemed to make him panic for a moment. Well, the answer to that would have been no. I'm not braking enough. think this car could do with a bit of camber on the front end. He's right by me. You're not coming past you. Not unless I balls it up. Well, it's the last lap. I don't really fancy going for a dive bomb. I'm more thinking, let's have you into the chicane.
Probe for weakness. Let him feel your presence.
Oh! Well, could have gone better. Oh! Okay, could have gone worse as well, which it just did. See, the AI does like to turn in. Ah, well. I enjoyed that anyway. I mean, I do like the fact that the AI isn't a walkover. I mean, I said it earlier, on Gran Turismo the AI is pretty much pointless, and it is. I mean, there's hardly any reason for them to actually be there. I mean, you do a one-player race and it's just boring. It's almost as if on Gran Turismo, to make it difficult, you've got to go in a crap car on crap tyres, and that for me, it's not what it should be about. It should be about being in a car that can actually get around a racetrack, which actually, you know what, I'm going to go and jump in a car now that I know is an absolute nightmare to drive. I don't know why I'm thinking of doing it, but I suppose to contradict what I'm kind of saying to myself. Yeah, I mean, if you're in a race, you don't really want to be in a car that got no grip whatsoever, got no steering or anything like that. So let's go and jump in a car that's got no grip, got no steering. Tell you what though, I am gonna put a 5-minute practice session on, and I am gonna change track. Where shall we go? No, you know what? Sorry, I'm gonna go back to Donington for one simple reason. I do know that track. We were on it earlier. Let's go to the short version, and just to see the difference of handling from this car to the cars that we used earlier, because this car is, if this handles how it handled for the people that raced them in the 40s or 50s or whenever it was, then how they did it I don't know, because how more of them didn't die I don't know. I've driven them once around Monaco, and I don't think there was a single corner I could get around without either hitting the wall or spinning it. So this is going to be very, very interesting. I'll put the practice session on so that I can change some settings if I need to. Oh yes, I was going to go helmet cam, but the gentleman that drove these cars never really wore helmets. Okay, 40 mile an hour and can't get around that corner. Oh, he's going. Now you may, if you're watching this, think I can't drive. Oh, don't hit me. Wait, if that's what you think, I dare you go and jump in this car and see how you get on. I mean, I like to think I could drive a bit, and this car definitely tests your patience. But at the same time, it's kind of amusing Touch the brakes and you lock up. Touch the throttle and the rear goes. And you may think, wow, it's because the tyres are cold. It makes no difference. When the tyres are green, it doesn't really make any difference. And it's a little frustrating that the AI just are very, very fast. But we'll see how we get on. I think this is kind of going to prove that on this game you can't just thrash every car everywhere. Come on, turn. You will go around that corner. The thing is, I don't really think that in this car changing camber angles or ride heights would make any difference whatsoever. What would help is if there was a Scalextrics slot around the road and the pin underneath the car. I do like though that when he takes his hands off the wheel, it looks like he's waving at the crowd. When I first saw that, I was driving around Monaco, it made me think, I wonder if they've stolen that from when Sterling Moss picked himself up a date while he was still racing. He was in a race, going around Monaco. Saw a woman in the crowd he liked, sent a couple of waves her way throughout the race and ended up getting a number. Come on, brakes, you will work. I'm not sure if he's still next to me or not. Come on, brakes. Okay, slower. Less than 50 to make the corner. That kind of came out of nowhere. Now I will admit, usually when I think that's my wheel.
Okay, we need you to come in and we'll try to fix it.
I think that's my other wheel.
Be careful.
Shall we have a quick look at that? Now, is that me out of the pit lane? I think it might be. Yes, it is. Right, okay, let's get forward to the crash. They could have made the car sound a bit better when it's on fast forward. But I suppose they do sound like Scalextric cars now. And, interesting, they are wearing helmets, but you haven't got a proper helmet cam. I do like the replays on this though, good camera angles. You can save your replays. Okay. Big snap of oversteer there. This is not going to go well. Oh! Oh! Ow! That was a big crash. That was a very big crash. I think I may do a short clip of that one. Quickly save that clip. That was a bit of a bad crash. Right, okay. I think that practice session may be over. So how do I get out of the replay? Okay. I'm now stuck. Ah, there we go. Right. Skip to the end of the practice session. Let's go and have a race. And it's going to start me right at the back. Or at least I'm not going to lose any places. Okay, that... Okay, my wheel is playing up. I think going from replay like I did then, I don't think the wheel liked it too much. Right, I'm going to have to go very, very slow here. Okay, I'm not in last place. There's 37 cars, so I am going to lose a few positions. Oh dear, this is not going to go well. Not going to go well at all. If I just peel back on the track, it's going to end in carnage. Come on. Okay, there may be more than 37 cars. There's a lot on the field. I'm guessing... Whoa, there's one on his roof. Well, I may have lost a wheel in the practice session, but at least I didn't land on my head. Ooh. These are definitely a handful to drive. I'm going to hit him. There's just a little nudge. Get out of our way! Oh no! Now, if you do like these cars, it'd help if people didn't crash into you. If you do like these cars, and one of the few places you can actually go and see them is at this track, Donington Park Museum. They've got a few of them in there. Also, Donington Park's pretty good for classic days. And I'm sure they do them at racetracks near wherever you are as well. I think I've got a bit of damage because my wheel's not centering. And now that we're this far behind the pack, I'm not sure we're going to be catching them up. Not unless driving very slow and steady is going to be quickest. Well, like I said just before I started this race, how these old boys used to race these, I will never know. If they handled like this, fair play to them. No wonder people say that F1's too easy nowadays. Admittedly, no one wants to see drivers dying on the racetrack, but if current F1 cars handled like this, it would show the men from the boys, but at the same time it probably wouldn't give us competitive racing. I mean, the idea is to have grip, not have no grip. It does not like that bump. Well, if I'm not talking much, it's because this is taking quite a lot of concentration. Come on, keep going.
Think about where he's slower than you. Keep pushing and see if you can take him under braking into the slow corners.
Thought I was actually going to get an overtake then. Oh no, instead it's going to all go wrong. Come on. Every time you think you've got a little bit of grip and you can put your foot down, it says no! Oh dear me. Okay, I suppose it did warn me on the last few laps about that one. Well, definitely hard work. Well, at least I didn't finish last, but then last place did end up on his roof and is now in the pit lane. Okay, well that did not go very nice at all, but they are enjoyable to drive. Now, if I was more competitive in that race, I'd have watched the replay, because I do like the replays. Right, let's go and have a quick look at the career mode, shall we? Right then, career mode. Let's continue. Like I say, I've done my first events in the career mode in the Formula Golfs. I didn't do qualifying. I started from the back of the grid. I'm not really gonna read the emails there. I could do. Yeah, started from the back of the grid in race 1. Finished 10th, started 10th for race 2, finished... Where did I finish? 5th. So yeah, scroll through. I don't know, 5th is... Well, I scored enough points to be in 5th now anyway. And let's next... Okay, well, let's go to the next event. I don't know where it is, or anything like that. Okay, round 2. Doesn't say where it's at, or if it does, I can't see it. So we'll go into the practice session, just so I can get my eye in. Nah, I'll leave that on 80%. The AIs are quite tricky on 80%. Dubai Autodromo, so it's same location as round one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a different version of the track. And something that happened to me doing round one, in practice the car handled lovely, in the race it handled absolutely terribly. I ended up giving up. I went back and started the race again a few hours later, and the car handled beautifully. So I don't know what was wrong with the car at that for the first attempt, but we'll see what happens here. Now for the career mode, I have said with my career mode I'm not going to play about with setups. I'm just going to pick up and play. I'll stick to that until I can't handle the cars. If I feel the setup does need playing with, then I will alter it. Now these Formula Gulfs should have much more grip than that Lotus, but like I say, when I did the first round of races, it is a different layout. Okay, I've not driven around here before. Yeah, in the race it handled just as bad as that Lotus. Okay, track goes that way a bit. Now, being a track I've never driven on, I am glad that I have put it into the practice session. I'm just taking it easy for the moment while I get the tyres up to temperature and try and get an idea of the layout of the track. I've not yet worked out whether you can alter the track map so it's fixed on being able to see all of the track. I take it you want to come past them, you... Oh! Well, you're not now. Okay, rear tyres are now up. I do think the gear ratio could probably do with being a tiny bit shorter on this car, but I don't really want to change too much on it. Well, I don't really want to change anything, but slidey there. I'll have to remember that corner tightens up. Yeah, this being the longest straight, I'm not really using much of 6th gear, and you don't get a lot of slipstream effect from these cars. I don't know if the 204 lap time is relevant yet. There's Formula Gulf is handling quite nice at the moment. Probably won't last. This is where it tightens up. That's going to be a tricky corner in the race. Up in sector 1 by half a second. Let's see if we're up in sector 2. 1.2 seconds up. Slipstream to help my time. 2037, 1.1 seconds up. That's not too bad, but I am going to cheat a little bit. Let's go to the gearing. I think 6th gear may be just a little bit too long, so let's quickly get out on track and give that a test. Oh, there's that guy that tried to get past me and spun. Right, so let's see if it helps that 6th gear is now been shortened. My time was quick enough to put me in first place, but it is only practice. And I did notice from round 1 that the computers went quicker in qualifying and the race than they did in practice. Not overly surprising if track evolution comes into it. Cold tyres, didn't like that. Alright then, come on 6th gear. Perhaps a little better, but may find a top out in the race. It probably would have been better shortening 4th and 5th, but if this car's anything like that BMW was around Donington, they'll go too short. I'm going to go though, I'll leave 6th gear as it is. We'll see how we get on. It might just help us on that last part of the straight. I think if I was going to play about with setups, I probably would go with lower gears all the way through. When you're looking at the lap times there, I'm 2.3 seconds faster in practice than they are. I don't think the gap will be quite the same in qualifying. Just realised I've got 30 litres worth of fuel on board, and I don't want 30 litres of fuel. That is something I would suggest you do change, the amount of fuel you have on board. You don't need a lot. A 5-lap race uses about 3.5, well, a 5-lap race around the shorter version used about 3.5 litres of fuel. This is a much longer layout, so probably use a bit more than that. I'll find out in this qualifying session if 7 litres is enough. Excuse me. What I tend to try and do as well on tracks that I don't know, I try and imagine, or try and work out if any of the corners are like corners that I know of, just to help you or help me work out how to take the corner. So that sort of long right hander that tightens at the end, it's kind of like a slightly more open. If you imagine China F1 circuit, turn 1, is it China? Malaysia, even. Malaysia's turn 1. It tightens, no, it is China. Yeah, it tightens up as you go around it. It's a bit like that, but not as tight. So if you try and approach it like that corner, it might help out. Right then, let's see what we can do in our quali laps. Didn't want to be over there. I'm offline for these two now. I am trying to concentrate, so I'm probably not going to talk much. I know these cars at any moment can just bite you, but not in the pleasant, with your missus, let's have a bit of fun way. that time's good enough for pole position, 203.4. And try and push it a little harder now. .4 seconds up, not bad. Nowhere near the apex there. Oh, 2.3 seconds up. And ending with a 2.8 seconds up, so a 2.0599, 2.000599, not a bad lap. I think on that I shall skip to the end of the session, because at the moment I'm 5 seconds a lap faster. Yes, I am, but I can pretty much guarantee that in the race I won't be that far ahead. So let's go and crack on with race 1. And the reason I say I won't be that far ahead is because you look at the other races I've done on this video, and they were on 60 and 70%. 60% was way too easy, 70% was not too bad, 80%, and they're usually quite tricky. Alright Charlie, how you doing? Don't go putting me off now, boy. If my car handles like a bag of crap, I'm blaming you. Oh,
Green.
bit of a false start. No penalty though, so I'm just going to run away. Oh, not too bad, mate. Getting a bit hungry though, so I'm going to need some dinner. I think Chinese may be in order tonight. Come on, grip up. There we go. See how many laps it takes them to start catching me up. I'll be surprised if they don't. I do like these cars. I mean, haven't got a lot of power, but they usually handle quite nice, very drivable. They are starting to close it a bit now. I have noticed on this game, if you take it easy, they will capitalise. It does keep you on your toes. But I want that. The one player should not be easy. It shouldn't be as simple as just go and get pole and drive away to the win. It should be tricky. I mean, they are catching up.
Good work, mate. That's a great start to the race. Let's keep pushing.
I've got DRS set up. This car doesn't have it. I'm only in the Formula Gulfs, so they don't have KERS or DRS. That is a proper tricky little corner, that. Okay, I've pulled out a gap on them now. That's the secret boost button working for me. I mean, okay, I've said that the one player shouldn't be easy, and it isn't. But I mean, what I've done before is, if I find a game a little too easy, just start from the back of the grid and have fun with it, which is what I did with round 1 of this career race. But I don't know what was going on with the handling of the car. It was so undrivable that it was no fun at all. Which is why on this one I decided, right, I'm going to do qualifying. Oh, I do not want to be out there. To the final lap, and hoping that he's put enough fuel in the car, which they should do. Whoa, do not want to be out there. Too soon. I think I prefer this version of the track than round 1's version. Much more flowing racetrack. Okay, I've now got the fuel light on, but they better have put enough fuel in the car. I will not be happy if I run out of fuel on the last lap before the finish line. There are 2 corners to go. We'll be alright. There we go. Well, that was perhaps a little too easy, but I'll take it.
Win of your career.
Well, only the second best. I'm still getting used to it on this. So go on then, who's the first? You. Or is it the boys 5 times? Okay, race 2. I thought you might say that. Well, I've not seen you race, so I'm the best driver I've ever seen. Nah, I wouldn't say that. I'm not that. I'm not that cocky to say it and believe it. I'm not bad. Okay, I'm going to try my alternative start. 80%, I think it is.
Green, green, green.
Yeah, it is. It's on 80%. Oh, you're a brave boy, and you use a controller. I mean, the way the last race just went, I probably will be stuck on the go-karts. I bypassed it. You can start on whatever level you want, and after watching Rian struggle with the go-karts, I thought, you know what, I'll give them a miss. So I've not actually driven any of the go-karts yet. But given how easy the last qualifying session and race was, I may have to put the difficulty level up. But like I say, for the first round of these races, I left it on 80% and started at the back of the grid, because I was more in sort of let's go and do some overtaking. And for the most part, I got screwed over. And when I managed to go from last to 10th in race 1, and then race 2 10th, so I think it was 3rd or 2nd. So this one, I thought, you know what, I'm going to qualify, get myself a win, and to make sure I get a contract offer for the next level. I do like these.
Lovely driving, great first lap. We're in control, so let's build a buffer to second place.
I do like these Formula Gulfs. They are, I would guess, like a big go-kart. Well, I've not driven the go-karts yet, so I don't know what they handle like. Well, that's good. I'd like to think if they're pushing at 100%, mistakes could happen. I don't suppose you saw the crash that I was in the Lotus 48 a couple of races ago.
To go, bring it back to us.
I think it's good that the AI make mistakes and mess up and spin out and crash. It's how it should be. People do make mistakes, so the computer should as well. I mean, how often on Gran Turismo would you see a car spin out? Never, unless you spun them out. But even then, that wouldn't happen, because on GT the cars were pretty much solid. You make contact with them, it'd be you that spins. just starting
You're leading
to
by 3
catch up a
seconds.
bit.
Good job. Keep pushing. We still want that gap.
I have been cruising it. Well, now I'll get to see what contract offers I may get. I do like those cars. They're just so nicely drivable. But then, I mean, I've said it before, you can have a car that's horrible to drive, but you make a few setup changes and they can become drivable. I mean, I did it with the what's the crazy car? The car that's at the very bottom of the car list. Drove it around Laguna Seca and it was impossible to drive. Took it to Donington, a few setup changes, beautiful to drive. Oh, I didn't make it as the champion because of the first round of races. I do know you get a trophy for winning the championship and then defending the championship. Oh, I missed out by 1 point as well. I should have taken more notice of that, and then perhaps I could have crashed him off in that race, but there we go. Yeah, I can imagine they do. I remember watching Rian and he was saying that he was struggling with the steering on the go-karts. Like I say, I've not yet even tried one. Oh, I've only just seen the fan thing. Stiliano G, loving everything about Demon Red Mist attitude this season. Looks focused out there. Oh, I am. 2 consecutive wins. Oh, yes. I don't want to do a Murray, but the start of things to come from Demon Red Mist. Cheers, mate. You just screwed me. Ping Chan, interesting name. Yeah, it would help if there was an options on there, but I mean, even if you was in the pits and was able to do it, it'd help. But right, okay, let's see what messages we got. Renault Clio Cup contract offer. Formula Gulf renewal contract. Yeah, well, what I did on a video earlier today was I went through looking at the settings and stuff, and the easiest way to do it is go into free practice in whatever car you want to work on. Go and sort out all of your settings for it, save it for all of the tracks, then that car is done across the board as a baseline. Excuse me. But what you can't do is transfer setup from one car to another car, but then all the cars are different. But yes, it would help if you could do it without going back to the beginning, because doing it in the free practice mode is great. It just takes a long time. Okay, so do I go to the Clio Cups, or do I do another round at Formula Gulf? The old YouTube channel, well, YouTube closed it down because I made a funny video that someone took offence to and reported us, so they closed the channel down, which really pissed me off. You know these videos that are going around on Facebook, where it'd be like, look at this footballer's unbelievable techers. You click on it and it's just a woman screaming her head off getting screwed. Well, basically I made one of them with a picture of F1 2015, saying like, oh, I've got early access. Yeah, so I put it out there. I've only put it out to the front row racing guys so they could stitch each other up, and it was set so that you could only watch it if you got sent the link, and someone somewhere reported us and they shut the channel down. I appealed it, but they wouldn't have nothing of it. Yeah, they wouldn't have none of it, so it kind of ruined me on that one. I'm going to go with a renewal of contract offer, I think. Yeah, I wasn't overly pleased with YouTube on that one, but we are going to be having a new channel for the next season. I have also got my own YouTube channel, which my videos on here will go on to. So our races from last night, or at least the first 2 hours, well, that's what I wondered. I mean, I even offered to delete it, but they said that I broke some kind of code of conduct spam thing or something like that. But so yeah, I wasn't best pleased, but I was a bit annoyed because it was one of those things. I was going to put it on my own YouTube channel, and had I done, it would have been alright, but I didn't, so we weren't. Right, I want to win the championship on this, so I'm going to go to qualify and go and win all the races so that I get a contract offer for the Formula Bs. Or at least that's my hope anyway. But yeah, I mean, if they'd just deleted the video, it wouldn't have been too bad. Especially when it was a sort of first offence, nothing else had ever been reported. I mean, we had over 300 videos on there and lost a lot of them. They wouldn't even allow us access to get them off there, which was really, really frustrating. But okay, qualifying, let's go. Actually, let's go and change that gear ratio. So I'm going to change fifth as well. Okay, let's do it that way and see if that works. I must admit, considering all the things that you can change on these cars, I'm not overly pleased with how the gear ratios go. I think you should be able to tweak it a little in more detail, because it's almost like the gear is too long or way too short. But we'll see how we get on with it here. So fourth is now pretty much non-existent. I've not touched the car setup on here, only the gear ratio, but like I say, the gear ratios, I mean, as you may have seen, I only knocked it down by 1 notch. Oi, like, I mean, 5th and 6th are alright. Yeah, that would make a bit of a difference. I did play about with the Formula A's setup earlier today because of that Monaco race last night. How it handled for me, and that was ridiculous. So I took it round Donington, played about with the setup a little bit, and it's absolutely sweet. But what I did on a live stream earlier today was look at setups. Not in great details, more sort of like, okay, if you pick up and play, but you want your car to just handle that a little bit better, it's quite simple. Just change the front cambers a little bit to a more, I mean, for example, I think the Formula A was on minus 2.4, but I changed them down to about 3.4. It was much better. think for this gear ratio to work I would have to shorten. So let's do a quick little test. See how long first and second are. Okay. Let's try and make this gear ratio a little more friendly. I don't need that much fuel in qualifying either. Okay. Shorten U. That should work much better. I don't want to cancel it. I've not taken the Formula A's around Spa yet. I've only been Hockenheim, Nürburgring, Monaco and Donington. But I'll get round to it eventually. Yeah, that's why I've just played about with them a little bit. Try and get some temperature in these. Forwards to go. Rear tyres are nicely temperatured. Well, let's go. Cancel the lap? No, that'll do. Thing is, we're changing the gear ratio now. Some of the gear changes are different. That's not bad. Fastest lap with an overtake. Then I would expect to get fastest lap round here. Boost, only going down 2 gears there. Should be a good lap, and it is, and not enough time for one more, so that'll have to do. 2 seconds quicker, I'm happy with that. Thank you very much. You notice there's 2 ways to start a race as well. Put it in first and then go. Absolutely annihilate them at the start, or you can keep it in neutral, rev the balls off it and then go, but that's when big spins tend to happen. Looks like I might have a bit more of a race on my hands here. Yeah, I've seen that. I've decided to opt against it because of the limitation of amount of buttons on the wheel. If I stall it, I haven't got enough buttons to... Well, I'd have to have engine on as one of my buttons, but all of my buttons are taken up at the moment.
We've got some pressure from the guy behind. You'll need to brake as late as you can. You may need to cover the inside line.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not easy on the pad for the number of buttons. So I think, well, yeah, I mean, we have...
Great first lap. Let's try and build a lead and bring this home.
We have exactly the same amount of buttons, so it is difficult to know exactly what to assign to what. I mean, there probably is a couple I could free up, but I like the setup I've got at the moment. He's definitely trying to pile the pressure on. You are not getting up the inside. Oh, okay, you are getting up the inside. Oh, I guess I'll have to concentrate now.
This guy's all over you, filling the mirrors. Time to cover the inside line and brake as late as you can.
Oh, could have done without that. Well, this one ain't going to plan. come back here. Come on, get in.
He's slower than you in certain sections. Keep pushing and try and take him under braking into the slow corners.
I haven't got enough laps to do so, Mr. Engineer. So I'll just have to take a third place.
That's a podium finish. Lovely job. Nice driving.
Disappointing. Should have won that. Should have won that by a mile. Alright then, on to race 2.
Green, green, green.
No holds barred. Need the win.